Welcome back to Terror by the Bay. I'm David. All right, saw something on Midas Touch on YouTube today. Thought I would do a reading on it. It's regards to Trump's rally speech in Virginia, where he yet again thinks that Joe Biden is not the president and Barack Obama is the president. Quote, Putin has so little respect for Obama that he's starting to throw around the nuclear word. And mind you, he can't pronounce nuclear, much like George W. Bush couldn't pronounce nuclear. What else did he say? He had other ones. Oh, yeah, mixed up. This is previous ones where he's talking about Haley and Pelosi and stuff like that. Midas Touch was playing some clips, and there's a lot of word salad coming out of that guy's mouth. Stream of consciousness stuff that doesn't make any sense. He meant to say the president of Argentina praised him, but said Argentina praised me. It's like, dude. And then Trump has the nerve to go out and say, oh, I do it on purpose. You know, not that any of us believe it because we don't. It's just the cognitive dissonance of the MAGA supporter. You know, and there's a couple that watch these videos. Jackal and Harley Mama watch these videos and comment on them. It's like, come on, be real with yourself. If Biden were to make those same mistakes and then said he was joking, that he's being sarcastic, that he purposely mixes them up, you wouldn't believe it in a second. And you know what? Neither would we. That's the difference between the MAGA Trump supporters and everybody else. That's how you know you're in a cult, when you keep making excuses for somebody's mistakes as opposed to holding them accountable for it. But hey, you know, that's a choice. Cult beliefs and stuff like that, that's a choice. You want to stay in that cult, you go right ahead. But don't say you were never told that you're in a cult, because you are. And there is no cult of Biden. You want to know how I know? Because there aren't any Biden t-shirts, Biden flags, you know, truckers for Biden, people were driving around in their lifted 4x4s with Biden flags and Biden t-shirts and make Biden America again and whatever it is that you want to go on about. It's just not there. So we're going to read on Trump's mental state and what appears to be a strong cognitive decline ahead of what's expected to be a health event for him coming up. Entertainment purposes only. What's going on with Donald Trump's cognitive abilities, mental health, etc., etc., etc. Foundation of it is the Nine of Cups. This is normally your hopes, wishes, and dreams fulfilled. Everything coming true that you want. Now, let's just say for a half a second that mental decline is not what he wants. What's the low energy of this? This is the smug merchant. This is the guy who you can't tell anything to because he's not going to listen to you. He's got all the answers. That feels a little bit more like Trump, doesn't it? It doesn't matter how many mistakes he makes. He's just going to tell you, I did it on purpose. Basically, his version of Pee Wee Herman's, I did that on purpose and I know you are, what am I? So that's the thing. Trump won't acknowledge it. And he projects that arrogance to his followers. You know, I'm not going to acknowledge it, and I don't expect you to acknowledge it either. Crossed with the Knight of Cups. It's insincere. You know, he's got some problems. He's got some big problems, and they're progressing. To me, this is expect more of the same, but it's going to be a progression. And he's not being honest with people. And frankly, they're not being honest with him, and they're definitely not being honest with themselves. But maybe some will start being honest with themselves. Underneath it all is the Hanged Man. And I think that's, for the people that are willing to be honest with themselves, they're starting to see that his emotional and mental health are declining. And no matter what excuse he puts out there, it's there for you to see and there for you to acknowledge. That doesn't mean you have to throw Trump out with the bathwater, but, you know, when you hear people say that Trump deals, and the Republicans deal in projection, and projection is the taking the things you're guilty of or the things you've done and blame other people for doing the same thing. Like if I ate a cookie, I'm going to say, my wife ate a cookie. My wife steals cookies all the time and eats them without permission. That's projection. Why did I say that? Because I stole a cookie and I ate it without permission. Same thing. Simple explanation. And there's been a chocolate chip cookie in the cabinet for like a week now, and she hasn't eaten it yet. It might have to get stolen and devoured messily. In the past, we have the magician. This mental cognitive decline has been going for a while, and he's been able to hide it. He's been able to mask it. He's losing his ability to mask it, likely because he's under severe emotional stress with all these court cases, and the fact that he just, he's on the hook for over almost $600 million, and he has no way to secure the loans or the bonds that he needs to challenge these in appeals court. He's got a couple of weeks before he's going to start losing all his buildings and his wealth. And, it's speeding up this process, especially as we come on to a solar eclipse in April. Current situation of the tower. You're watching the decline of Donald Trump. In real time, you're watching his decline. It looks like there might be, again, they talk about a health event. We are on the precipice of a health event with him. Some major fall. And I don't mean him tripping and falling downstairs. I mean, this is going to be more of a mental breakdown, emotional breakdown, probably a mental breakdown. As, Trump Tower and his businesses are collapsing, his mental health and his emotions are going to collapse along with it. Yeah, it's going to be fast. This swords represent intellect, and the change of intellect is happening very quickly. As Trump's fortunes are declining, his mental health, his intellect, the sharpness of his wit is going to decline along with it really, really quickly. More swords. The lesson to be learned. It's going to be obvious to people that look at it. Queen of Swords is the no BS card. I didn't need a cookie. I know what you're talking about. I never took that thing. And it's like, the Queen of Swords is like, there's crumbs on the counter where you sit, you're on your placemat where you sit. There's an empty glass of milk in the glass that you drink out of. The wrapper's in the garbage, so it's done recently. You got a little bit of chocolate right here on your lip, and I smell chocolate on your breath. Why are you lying to me? Why can't you own this? That's the Queen of Swords. Yeah. Here's all the data. Here's why I'm saying you did it. Are you going to continue denying it? Because it's really obvious to everyone that you took the cookie and you're lying about it. And that's kind of watching Trump go down. It's like, well, of course this was going to happen. It's to be expected to happen. The outcome is the Justice card. These court cases, the next court case coming up is at the end of March. It's probably going to be tied with that court case, between him not being able to appeal. And he'd had Victor Orban over. Lord knows if he was trying to sell him secrets to raise money, entertainment purposes only, in order to make his appeals. Trump also has that SPAC, DWAC, that's trying to buy out the Trump Media Group that built and owns Truth Social. And they have a shareholder vote at the end of the month, March 22nd, I believe. No, 2 days before this trial starts, if I've got my timing right. And there's lawsuits that are going to delay any sales of the company. And remember, if Trump is forced to sell his businesses, and he's not going to make it till March 22nd before people can start taking his stuff. When you go to put them on sale, they're distressed sales. No, if he's got a $1 billion building, nobody's going to offer him $1 billion for that building because it's distressed. They have to sell it, and the sharks in the water know it has to be sold. It might be private bid or something like that. So instead of $1 billion, maybe they only get 800 million or $750 million on it. Why overpay for it when you can get it at a discount? And if Trump has a $800 billion loan, or excuse me, $800 million loan on a $1 billion building, probably because he took a loan and then took another loan off of the equity that he has. Maybe he only has $200 million in equity and he has $800 million loans on that building. If it sells for $750, well, the banks get paid this $750 and Trump still owes the banks $50 million. And he gets none of his equity out of it. If it sells for $800, the banks get all the money and he gets no money out of it. So you can see the pickle that he's in, that, yeah, he's got some equity in the building. He may not see any of it because he's not going to be able to sell it at market values. Nobody's going to pay for that unless he can convince the Saudi government to come in and buy out all his buildings at market value so that he gets the money to pay off the banks and then has his equity left over to fight his charges. Maybe the Saudi government would do that. I don't know. Better than giving them money, because you give them money, you're not going to get anything back. So, yeah, I think he's going to have an emotional decline. He's been faking it for a while, but it's all there for us to see. It's happening quickly. He and his team are trying to make excuses, but we all see it for what it is. And it's tied to all these court cases that he's facing. It is tied to all these court cases. He is losing his fortune. He is losing his mythology. He is losing his self-esteem, his self-worth, and as an extra added bonus, he's losing his mind. Give us Trump's energy around the solar eclipse that's happening in April. Sorry, I don't know the actual date. I'd look it up. Me and pause buttons are always a hit and miss thing here. But we have a solar eclipse happening in April 2024. What's Trump's energy going to be like during that solar eclipse? How can you describe him to me? All right. Leading up to it, what do we got? Two of Swords. So again, swords are about intellect. He's gonna be on the fence whether things happen or not. And that's what a lunar eclipse would look like. Twos and twos. He's in transitions. Right around there, he's really in a transition, both mentally and physically with his health, as well as his money. Decisions. He's at a crossroads with money, values, and his health. Underneath it all, Seven of Wands, and it's fighting for both. Fighting his court cases, trying to hold on to his money. Fighting these court cases to hold on to his freedom. And, this could be one of those karmic things where, his soul decides this is where he's going to mentally check out or not, or mentally hang with it. We'll see. In the past, we got the Page of Swords. It's his mental health declining. He's not a King of Swords, or even he had the Queen of Swords. He's being reduced to a Page of Swords. Again, mental health is declining and getting more childlike. This is around the eclipse. Around the eclipse, he's exhausted. He's been fighting. He's got more fights. He's injured. Notice this guy has a head injury too. He's injured. He's beaten. He's exhausted, and he has to fight some more. That's the choice, the crossroads he's at. Does he keep fighting? Does he fight for his money? Does he fight for his health? Of course he's going to fight for his money. Overarching energy around the eclipse is the Eight of Swords, excuse me. He's mentally stuck. He's mentally trapped. A victim of his own doing. He's again, the Eight of Swords is a hostage card. You're being held against your will. This person could undo the ropes and take off the mask and walk away. But basically, I think what this is telling me is, in some ways, he's done this to himself. He's a victim of his own circumstances that he created. He didn't have to go through this. This Two of Swords might go all the way back to him choosing to be the president of the United States. He chose to be the president. He looked at it and said, I can make a lot of money on this, and he didn't look at the consequences of it. He went in not knowing anything and basically got help from Russia and others to get in there. And, ever since he's been in there trying to get money, he has made things worse and worse and worse for himself to the point where he's now tangled up in his own web of lies. And that whole trial is about, campaign finance and the choices he made to pay off a porn star who he had, had an affair with or had sex with while his wife was home with their baby boy, Barron. And he didn't want her to find out, but he also wanted to be elected. And he certainly didn't want to be embarrassed. Lesson to be learned. Calls Stormy Daniels horseface, denies the whole thing, throws Michael Cohen under a bus. His own arrogance has put him in this position here. He'll try, again, he's going to just deny everything. Just like the foundation reading of his mental health. He'll probably still have his mental health, but it's declining. It may not have happened by the solar eclipse. Outcome is the Page of Wands. But there's going to be messaging about things coming up. I think what all this is saying is that it probably doesn't. By the solar eclipse, he's probably still with us, but there's paths he's going to be going down, especially with that Two of Swords. Paths he's going down and messaging that's happening. Again, I think we'll still be seeing more and more of his mental decline by the eclipse. All right. Now, for the Trump supporters that are watching his mental health decline, I don't even care. I was going to ask how that impacts them, but it's hard not to write them off at this point. Again, talking about propaganda and free will and choices. Not even really interested in that. Tell me more about, is Trump going to have a health issue from now until, say, the summer solstice? Is Trump going to have any health issues? Can you, either physical or mental health issues, can you share what his health situation is looking like between now and the summer solstice? I've done readings taking you to the winter solstice. Let's try the summer solstice. That'll be through June. The star card. Well, since I don't think his health's going to be amazing, it could be the falling star. It's going to cross it with. There's your health. Yeah, I think we're going to get health issues, progressions here. Falling star, maybe even a retreating star as he, is hiding here. Two of Wands, planning, actions, next steps. Maybe by the summer solstice, his star is fading. There's some progression here that needs to be addressed. In the past, we've got the Five of Cups, the loss. Something happens. It's more like an emotional breakdown, I think, than a mental breakdown. But there's a loss, a diminishment in capacity with him. Disappointment in himself, disappointment of stuff that's going on. These could be the court cases This could be voters turning on him. Oh dear, that's not good. Current situation is the death card. Things coming to an end. The king's on the ground and has lost his crown. I think his star, by summer solstice, his star has fallen, or it's in a downward spiral. Wow. The Drunken Hillbilly Baral card. I haven't seen that in a while. A lot of commotion around whatever's happened to him. Or what's happening to him. There's a lot of commotion, a lot of energy. Let's say he had a heart attack and fell down. This would be the emotion. This would be the energy of them trying to revive him. If it was a stroke, again, it would be all the energy as they're racing around to do the tests, trying to figure out what the next steps are. And how do you message about his health? Lesson to be learned is the Ace of Cups. All the stress he's under, that he's put himself through. This could just be, this could be like an emotional or mental breakdown is what we could be talking about here. Or maybe it's sold as exhaustion, emotional exhaustion caused his collapse. But it's not, if the guy is emotionally or mentally exhausted, you wouldn't have all this energy around it. They're going to try and figure out how they're going to do messaging with it. Outcome is out in the cold. His health has declined, and it's not going to be recoverable. And again, if the messaging is, how do we tell people about his health? It's like they don't want to, because that's going to leave the voters out in the cold. Five of Coins is also about wealth. And Trump was holding all the keys to money in the GOP. And so maybe they don't want to talk about his mental health. Because if they do, then Trump holds on to all the money and they get nothing. Yet they may not share that with their voters. And now their voters aren't getting the information they need to make an informed choice. God, I wonder if Haley has dropped out of the race by that point. We got Super Tuesday coming up. I should read on that too. But not right now. I think I'm going to end this reading here. What did I take away from it? He's in mental decline. And it's already happening, and it's going to happen quickly. Maybe by the solar eclipse, he's transitioning, and I think certainly by the summer solstice, he's really feeling the effects of either a mental decline or an emotional decline of some sort, maybe both. And we'll see what happens from there. All right. Hope this helps. Given the Supreme Court decisions and everything else going on, if he's mentally incapable of standing trial, it kind of makes all the court cases moot, doesn't it? But it should also mean he's not mentally capable of being the president of the United States, and that should disqualify him as well. And that's the thing that we're concerned about, is that if he's not mentally competent to stand trials, he should also be mentally not competent enough to be the president of the United States. Just saying. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you for your likes and your shares and your comments and everything you do to help feed the algorithm so my video makes it out to a wider audience. To folks just discovering this channel recently or for the first time, welcome to the channel. Glad you stuck around for the whole video, including this part. I really appreciate it. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.